And so welcome to the Pork Art Podcast, a special edition. On the 10th of June 2017, the actor Adam West, most famously known for his portrayal of the Caped Crusader in the hit 1960s television series Batman, passed away. He was 88. He had a brief battle, I think it was with leukemia, what finished him off in the end. But I don't want to focus on the negative. I want to focus on a man who actually was more than a man. You know, the word icon gets bantered around a lot these days. But for me, and geeks alive, he was an icon. I suppose in the same way that Carrie Fisher was, in the same way that the great Tom Baker of Doctor Who is, Leonard Nimoy, Captain Kirk himself, of course, William Shatner. Adam West definitely fell into that category. The world of science fiction, fantasy and comic books is littered with icons. And Adam West, I think what made him stand out amongst all of them was his wit, the fact that he didn't take himself too seriously. So many actors take themselves too seriously, and I hate them for it. I hate actors that think that somehow that they're destined to bring something to the world of vast importance. And usually when they've got that kind of mindset, it's usually pomp and circumstance that they bring to the world, be it on the theatre, usually TV and even film. But Adam West just felt like a guy who just wanted to entertain people at sometimes the cost of himself and his own dignity. I mean, there he is, in Batman, running around in tights, in a bat costume. It's stupid. And that series, I mean, obviously, I'm way too young to remember that series when it first went out. My dad and my uncle do. They were big, avid fans. And I discovered it in 1993 on a series of repeats during the summer of 1993 when the second of the Michael Keaton Batman movies, Batman Returns, debuted on the cinema, on the big screen. Channel 4 showed just a summer of repeats of the classic Batman series. And as an 8-year-old, or whatever I was at the time, 8 or 9, how could you not fall in love with that? It just had everything. It had action, adventure, the humour, although I would find the humour in it a bit more later on. The great thing about that series was it worked on just so many different levels. And just thinking about it now makes me laugh. I've just been watching the Mad Hatter episode 13, the 13th Hat. And that's just, it's one of my favourites. It's certainly in my top 10 of the 3 seasons of that show. But they showed, as I say, Channel 4 showed a sum of repeats for the programme. And it just, as a kid, you see it, action, adventure. As an adult, makes you laugh. And that's something that I think we need more of in this world. I think we need more Batmans like that, and we need more Adam Wests. But he was one of a kind. And I could have done this podcast in the immediate aftermath of Adam's passing, but I decided, no, I want to do this properly. I don't want to be doing this on raw emotion. I want to gather my thoughts as best I can, even write down a couple of things. I don't normally do that for these podcasts, but I decided I'm going to write down a couple of things that I do want to get out there and say about the man, about him being a pop culture icon, about the fact that that show, just as I say, it worked on all these different levels, all these different strands, and people can forget how successful it was. It was number one in syndication across the United States, one of the most watched shows around the world. It's actually never been off the air. I guarantee you now, somewhere out there on planet Earth, that series is still being shown. And that series still works. My nephew has watched a couple of episodes, and it works. It hasn't really aged. Unlike most shows of the 1960s and even 70s, you can't really show them to a modern day audience without it looking, I guess, looking of its time, looking like a 60s program, looking like a 70s program. But somehow, despite the silliness, despite the campness, it works. And the reason it works is because of Adam West, because of Burt Ward, because of the whole cast. But the way that Adam played that part, he played it with a sincerity. Yeah, that's the word. A sincerity that no matter how preposterous it gets, no matter how camp and stupid it gets. There was one episode I remember where you've got basically Batman, Adam West, effectively as the Pied Piper, and he's playing on a whistle, on a flute or something, and he's trying to get rid of these rats out of Gotham City, and he leads them off the pier into the water, and it's nothing like you get now with the Ben Afflecks or the Christian Bales or even the Val Kilmers or the Michael Keatons, but the stupidness of it and the mere childness of it still works. Despite all that, it still feels strangely believable and strangely real. Here you have the Mad Hatter running amok around Gotham City, stealing people's hats. You couldn't imagine Ben Affleck's Batman doing that, trying to stop the Mad Hatter. You couldn't imagine the Tim Burton universe of Batman doing something like that. They would be laughed at. They would be a laughingstock at. I think the closest they ever got to trying to do a replica of the Adam West TV series was with Batman and Robin, the 1997 film with George Clooney. And again, I think the reason that didn't work, that didn't work for so many reasons, but it didn't work because George Clooney isn't Adam West. He wasn't Adam West, and he can never be Adam West. No one can, and no one else could pull off a silly, little, stupid, camp show like that with sincerity and believability that make it have the success and the reach that it did throughout the ages. Like I say, my nephew, he still watches it today. Children, adults are still watching this show today. And it was huge. It was big. The show, as I said, was syndicated all around America. And it only ran for 3 seasons. Only 3 seasons, and then it got the chop. But they did about nearly 120 episodes, plus the feature film, which was very successful at the time. That's a hell of a lot to cram in 3 years. A lot of episodes. Another side to this, though, of course, the passing of Adam West, is that I'm aware now that I have reached the age, I'm 33 now, where between now and when I reach my 40s, and certainly my 50s, a lot of my heroes, to which I do include Adam West, one of them, a lot of the icons that I have grown up loving will be gone, will no longer be here. And that's hard. That's hard for me to say that now. I even get quite emotional just saying it. The death of Adam West is probably as close as it gets for me other than, say, being Tom Baker, as the Doctor, or Kevin Sorbo as Hercules, I do put Adam West up there amongst those people that I admire in television and film and entertainment. And the older I'm getting, of course, the less time they have, and it sucks. Without sort of going off onto a complete tangent about the workings of time travel and such, but one of the reasons I'm obsessed with time travel as a concept is because I want to hold back time. I want to hold back time because, one, I don't have to get any older, but also I just don't want to see people that like Adam West die. I don't want to see Tom Baker die. I don't want to see Kevin Sorbo die. I don't want to see my family and friends die. But it's so inevitable, isn't it? And I said this to a friend of mine just the other day, but why is it that it only feels like yesterday that I first discovered the Adam West Batman series back in 1993, and now here we are in 2017. He's gone. Time just seems to be, the older I'm getting, it seems to be moving faster and faster and slipping through your fingers. And to lose people like Adam West, to lose people like Carrie Fisher, and for people who are fans of David Bowie and Prince, I'm not particularly fans of those guys, but I get that sense of foreboding, that sense of loss, that sense of something, a big part of your life has gone. Now, I certainly don't have the relationship with Adam West that many other fans do, particularly growing up in America, just a pop culture icon because of the success of the series. As I said, syndicated all around the United States. I think Batman was one of the earliest shows to be syndicated across America. I may be wrong on that, but it certainly took the country by storm. And I think it's fair to say, made Batman. I don't think it's an underestimation to say that Batman, the Adam West TV series Batman, made the franchise that we have today with Ben Affleck. And Superman was sort of looked at, I guess, as the granddaddy. Yeah, that was the one that began it all. And Batman, for a while, when it just existed solely in its comic book form, I think was looked at as just a rip-off. Oh, you've done, okay, Batman, Superman, oh, that's original. And the comics, why successful, didn't really take off, if you'll pardon the pun, like Superman did. But when that series launched in 1966, boom, it just captivated the United States. It took the world by storm. And Batman, I think, has long since overshadowed Superman. Superman's probably, he is, as I say, he's the king. He's the one that began it all. But Batman, I think, really connected with the people a lot more. Because he's human, because Adam West is human. It's easy to relate to a human being. I suppose a bit like in Doctor Who, you relate more to the companions and the Doctor sometimes. And I think the same was true of Batman. I think, everyone can imagine what it's like to go through what Bruce Wayne went through when you lose someone, and then that drives you to right those wrongs. Where it's hard to relate to a man who's had his planet blown up and has been sent to Earth in a capsule, and then has superhuman strength because of the sun of planet Earth. It's a bit harder to relate to. But Batman, I think we can all understand Batman and understand Bruce Wayne to a point. And the Adam West series, it certainly, I believe, went a long way to moulding the morality of many children, even me to a lesser extent. It played a part in my morality, and as you get older and older and older, it's harder and harder to have morals and stay truthful and honest and decent. But occasionally I will think, when I wonder, how am I going to get through today? How am I going to deal with that situation? I just think, what would the Adam West Batman do? What would my Batman do? Because, okay, I like Michael Keaton a lot. I actually like all the Batmans. But I suppose Adam West was my Batman. I salute you, sir. Godspeed. Bright night. Thanks for listening.